What's up, everyone? Scotty from Chernobyl Studios, and today I am sitting with a very good friend of mine, Kristian Kohlmannslehner, and that's actually his last name, Kohlemanslehner.
That's right. Nice to be on your channel again. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to see you.
Do you like my name?
Kohlemanslehner sounds really brutal. I mean, like, it's pretty clear what you were meant to do. You're supposed to mix some brutal fucking metal, and this is so, yeah, Kohlemanslehner.
Yeah, that was clear right from the start, right from the beginning. Kohlemannslehner is my family name, and that's where my nickname came from, Kohle, and that's how I ended up being called Kristian Kohle. But it comes from Kohlemannslehner.
So how many forms were you actually able to fill out with a last name like that?
Not many, and that's a real problem. That's why I was quite happy about the Kohle thing in the end, because Kohlemannslehner, nobody's able to pronounce that anyway, and then you don't have the space. You need a lot of letters to write that. So as cool as it sounds, as brutal as it sounds, not a very practical name.
Yeah, right. Does it literally mean just like a person who works in the coal mine? Is that what that means?
Yeah. Kohl means coal, then man, and Lehner means some kind of loan. So either it was the guy like renting or loaning or something, like a coal mine, or giving it to somebody, something like that. It could be either direction. Yeah, but I come from somewhere inside a dark mountain.
Dark mountain, extreme brutal music, Kohlemanslehner. I mean, it all makes sense.
Absolutely.
I mean, so speaking of dark mountains, maybe let's replace the dark mountain with perhaps a dark church of some description, because, actually, before I say that, because people need to understand kind of where you've come from here. So many, many years ago, in the before times, there was this thing called the URM podcast. People might know about it, but I was always annoying AL to get you on at least the podcast, so you guys could talk about it. And then finally, every time they would ask for monthly suggestions, it was always like, Kohle, gotta get Kohle on the... So, honestly, dude, I just can't... From where we started there, actually our friendship started there, and where you are now, I have to say I'm just extremely happy for you, honestly. And I'm genuinely happy for your success, because you have a pretty good YouTube channel now, and you have released The Cult, finally. So, which is what this video is all about. So let's talk about your cult. Let's talk about how people can sell their soul to you, and and what you will do to them.
Yeah. So we just launched Kohle Audio Kult, which is a wonderful place, of course, and a great community. It is an online academy for people who want to learn how to record, produce, mix, and master all kinds of heavy music. So from heavy rock over whatever, modern metal, gent, up to the most extreme stuff. And we try to cover like the entire process of making records, of making music. So it's not only about mixing or about mastering, it is also about, producing, arranging, recording. Because, these days people are self-producing their records in their home studios. And as you know, it is so important to get things right at the source. You got to learn how to record. You got to learn how to arrange your songs, because that will make the mixing process so much easier. So what we're trying in this academy is to offer like tons and tons of great, well-structured courses that teach people all the things I just mentioned. And we're building a great community where people can get together and can get in touch with me, can ask questions, can get feedback from me on their mixes. Lots of cool stuff happening there.
So, I mean, I'm all about it, because, anyone who watched your Nail the Mix all those years ago will know that you're a fantastic teacher. And actually, you have a way of viewing the mixing process. I think you just mentioned it, which comes down to your philosophy of recording things correctly. So the mix is like simple. But I mean, what was really the motivation for doing the Audio Cult? Because you did the mix thing, you're doing the YouTube thing. I mean, where did the academy come into play?
Well, I mean, you're right. It started with my Nail the Mix with Aborted That was 3 years ago, not even 3 years ago. And before that, I had been a professional recording engineer, mixing engineer my entire adult life, so to say. And if you had told me like 3 years ago that I would be on YouTube or do an academy, you know, that would have sounded crazy to me back then. I was just, you know, doing studio work. But after doing Nail the Mix for the first time, which I realized, first of all, it was a lot of fun. So I was super nervous in the beginning, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. And I got such an overwhelming, like mind-blowing feedback from people. I was super nervous when I did this. I was like, oh my God, you know, how are people going to react? Do they want to see me or not? Because I had spent my life in a dark control room, you know. And so a lot of people got back to me and said like, wow, the way you explain things makes sense to me. And now I understand stuff. And that was when I started looking into what else is out there, like other academies, other courses. And there is some cool stuff out there. But to be very honest here, I checked out a lot of stuff. And with most of the stuff, I felt like, hey, I think I can do this better. Like in two ways. First of all, do this a lot more structured, and that's what we're doing. Not just random courses and stuff, but really like a structured kind of learning. Give people well organized courses, and also really try to explain things properly. Like a lot of those courses that I see online show you like the shortcuts and show you like the tricks, you know, how to do something, how to mix 3 albums in one day, how a shortcut, not, you know, all those fucking shortcuts and tricks to get away from the actual work, so to say. And I strongly believe that the art of recording and mixing is something you gotta learn, and there's no way around it, that it needs a lot of time and a lot of work. So yeah, no fucking tricks and well organized courses. I just felt like, hey, I think I can offer something that is better than most of the other stuff out there. And maybe I think you said that at some point. Maybe make this a little more German than the other guys out there.
Yeah. I mean, tell me you're German without telling me you're German. I think I can do it better. I think it can be more organized.
I don't want to sound arrogant, but for example, we have this section inside the academy called the Gospel. And it's organized in chapters. So, for example, if you want to learn something about drums, you click on drums, and there's a basic like drums foundations course, maybe 1 hour, including multitracks, tells you how to record drums. Then you move on, processing drums, shows you how to EQ, how to compress them, and so on. Then you can click on snare, and then you'll learn whatever, how to mic a snare, how to tune a snare, how to plays the mic, all that stuff. So it's all organized. Or you can click on guitars, and then there are certain guitar courses. I think tomorrow, inside the drum chapter, we are releasing a course called Drum Bus Compression, where I just talk about drum bus compression. That means if you're searching for a certain topic, you're gonna find it. It's not just a random collection of stuff like put together. And one thing that's also really important is that when I watch like a lot of other courses, I strongly believe like that it's not enough to just take a famous producer, mixer, engineer, you know, and let him show you his stuff. Because even if you're the greatest mixer in the world, that doesn't make you a good teacher. You know, there are some people out there that can do both. But I've watched so many courses where I felt like, hey, the guy is amazing. The mix sounds great. He knows what he's doing. He just can't explain it. And nobody's going to learn anything. And people are just trying to copy that without understanding the background, not understanding why he makes which decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why, like, before, I mean, your Nail the Mix month was pretty much my Bible. I have watched that in its entirety multiple times, and it's interesting because as I continue to grow or get better in certain aspects, certain things you said just come to the top, and I go, "Oh Jesus, that's what he meant," because it's over your head for a long time. And let me ask you this question. I think I'll say it and then you tell me if I'm wrong or right or how close I am to the thing. Okay. So the goal of the audio cult is actually, as you're saying, to help people actually learn something. But you also said something earlier was you can't escape the work. So tell me if I'm wrong. Would the goal of the audio cult be to give people the actual fundamentals and foundation that they need to correctly practice the art of recording and mixing, so they don't have to do what you and I did, which was go down a rabbit hole for 3 years and at the end be like, fuck, that was a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to do your homework, you know. So if you watch a 1 hour course, that will be like weeks of work for you to practice what I'm trying to explain you in that course. And there's no way around it. But you are absolutely right that the cool thing compared to back in the days when we started is that I'm giving you this information, so you don't have to find out yourself. So you're getting the right information. You can rely on that, and then it's up to you to practice. I'm just telling people there's no shortcuts, you know. And I believe no matter which kind of metal you are working on, if you do hard rock or if you do black metal, and no matter if you are working in the box or in a console, if you're using real amps, real drums, programmed drums, amp sims, whatsoever, there are a lot of basic rules and a lot of stuff, basic stuff, foundations that you have to learn that are important, that will just make your entire professional life a lot easier. And I just got angry a lot of times, like seeing all those shortcuts and all this bling-bling bullshit, you know. I'm trying to the Kohle Audio Kult is a no bullshit academy, you know, like it's the real thing. Sometimes it may be a little more boring and less bling-bling, but, you know, that's what it is.
See, the bling-bling, so the theory about all the shortcuts, it's trying to get the YouTube clicks, which is fair enough. I mean, that's a grind in itself. But oftentimes, these particular shortcuts or hacks tend to be for a very specific use case that is solving a very particular problem that you won't probably run into 98% of the time.
Which comes after having learned all the basics, right?
Yeah, so most of the time, great example, you know, I can't even balance a mix yet, but I'm concerned if my parallel drum bus is working correctly.
Yes, exactly.
So like, that's kind of like, dude, shouldn't even be on the radar. You know?
Right.
And I'll be honest, I don't even use parallel drum processing anymore. I just don't. I don't. Why? I like the sound,
I mean, that's what we've talked about. Like, and I could see your mix is getting like so much better over time compared to, you know, like years back when we got to know each other. Because also one thing that you learned, like Scott, was like less is more. Just do things right, and that just means I don't need 15 plugins on every track. You know, if I just make sure that I have a vision for my mix, that I use the right amp and the right IR, and, you know, spend time on like the getting things right from the start, and then everything. I mean, it's still not easy, but it gets easier, and you avoid getting lost in some kind of over processing nightmare where I see a lot of people. And one thing I forgot to say is also very important. So it's really cool to get, like, inside an academy, to get the tracks of a famous band. Like, and we're gonna do that as well. We have like some other people, some other mentors. It's not just me, and people will get multi-tracks and we'll get some fancy shit. But we're also gonna do the opposite thing. So one thing we're gonna do, it's called Tracks from the Swamp, is like the opposite thing. So people can upload their multi-tracks.
That's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Beautiful. But what I'm saying is, like, we're so I'm mixing, or the entire community, and I'm mixing your tracks. You know, so what I'm saying is we're trying to give people like real world examples. And I haven't done that yet. I think the first one will be next month. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I will run into problems there. So that I have to solve. And maybe I won't be able to solve all the problems, but I'm showing like a real world process, because it's cool to get the aborted tracks that I have recorded, or to get whatever, the Meshuggah tracks, or like some tracks. But it's just easy to mix them because they're fantastic. And it's not the real world. That's not going to happen to you if you try to get clients in your home studio. You know, that's not your everyday work. So we're trying to get people, it's less fancy once again, but it's just more real.
So what you're saying has happened to me through all the years that I've been, professionally mixing, getting paid to do this, a grand total of one time where the drums were recorded very well, the guitars were recorded very well, the bass was recorded very well, and the vocals were recorded very well, to where you just loaded the stems in the Cubase and you're like, well, balance. Mix is pretty much done. Let me just throw an EQ on here. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's the bass looks like this. The drums are 127 or whatever velocity, or they're very poorly humanized or programmed, or both. Vocals are ultra dynamic, and the guitars are horrifically out of time. That's usually what it sounds like.
What Scott is saying right now is, please, everybody, join Kohle Audio Kult to make his life as a mixer a lot easier, So all the shit that he has to fix all the time, all your fucking mistakes he has to repair, join the cult. I'll teach you. I'll make Scott's life a lot easier. That was the reason for doing this video, right?
Yeah, I'm in the thing. You were very, very kind to allow me to check everything out and have a look at it. And I already watched the video from Ermi, the submission audio guy, about his mastering process, and I really liked, for example, that it was not just here are the plugins I use and good luck. He took 5 mixes from the community. He was like, okay, here's what you're struggling with as a mastering engineer. This is what I hear. And then he mastered one of the songs. So it just, again, talking about the workflow and the reasons for the decisions made before the plugin is inserted into the chain.
And he is I think he's fantastic at explaining. He's a great teacher, Ermin. Let's just mention that so people know what they're expecting. Right now we have, besides all the other stuff that I've mentioned, we've got 3 big courses inside the Academy. One is mastering, a metal mastering course that Scott was talking about with Ermin Hamidovic, who is like a modern metal mastering guy. He worked for Periphery, Architects, Silosis and stuff. Then we have, on the other side, a drum recording course with Mr. Bob Marlette in LA, who a legendary producer who worked with Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, Il Nino, Atreyu, like many others, White Zombie, and great guy. And he did a drum recording course for us inside his dining room, which is also super interesting. And then we have a third course that I did. And I went to a big old school studio near Prague, Czech Republic, with a Dutch band called No Turning Back that I think many people in Europe know, like a hardcore band, New York hardcore kind of band. And we recorded an EP live in one room, everybody in one room. And it's a little like documentary, so people can follow me, can be a fly on the wall on every step of the production. And yeah, the way we do it inside the cult is that if you subscribe, you get everything. So there's no additional stuff you pay. There's no whatever. So if you join now, you will get everything we have, everything we released in the past, all in.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Instead of sort of, okay, you've signed up now. If you want to get last month's content, paywall.
Exactly.
Not pointing any fingers, but we know who that is.
You can. That's actually. We've got the subscription, so people can either subscribe for a full year or for like quarterly for 3 months. I just wanted to avoid a monthly thing because once again, I want people to learn something. I don't want people to come in and and leave and come back and leave. I don't want that. I'm giving you everything in there. Come in, stay for 3 months. Much better for you to learn something. So either it's quarterly or it's yearly. But if people don't want to subscribe and just want to have a certain course, that's also possible. So if you just want to have Ermin's mastering course and you just want that and you don't give a fuck about the rest, or you just want to have Bob Marlette's drum course, you can just buy it, no subscription. So it's a combination. And we will put out more courses in the future. Right now we have the big ones, but there will be maybe just, let's say that drum compression course. So we will have like smaller courses that people can grab if they don't want the whole thing. But but the academy will just grow. We will be adding courses. We will be adding plugins. We will be adding drum samples, multi-tracks. There's so much cool stuff coming in the next weeks and months. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is the thing that I think I also should mention to people. Like, yeah, my mixes have gotten better, but mixing is like that infinitely dark well. I mean, you can get better infinitely at all stages of mixing it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like learning how to mix is kind of like, in a degree, deciding when the mix of a song is done, because you're tired of working on it, or B, there's no real, everything you would squeeze out at this point would be less than 1%, and it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see what comes up over and over and over, because I'm a big fan of your teaching style. I love your knowledge and the way that you approach mixing, and it's no secret that
One thing for you, Scott. One thing, like, I know you're a busy man, but if you ever feel bored, like in the next weeks, we've got like a track from an Austrian French death metal band called Monument of Misanthropy inside the cult right now. I recorded pretty much all the tracks except for the vocals. Great death metal song. You can grab the tracks and mix them. I'm sure you're gonna love the song and gonna love the drums. So yeah.
And I should submit it for you to listen to, because I think I would have the greatest chance of that happening in the beginning stages of the cult. Because
You're right.
A
Because
year
people
from now, I think it'll be way more competitive.
We got a weekly. It's called the weekly service. So each week,
Jesus.
I'm either gonna do
The
an
gospel, the weekly service. Yeah.
It's a cult.
You went balls deep on the cult. Yeah.
No, but we had like last Monday we had like the first FAQ session, so people can ask me questions, and so I sit down and answer the questions. And next week we're gonna have the first mix feedback thing, so people can send me their mixes. I'm gonna grab a few and do a little review. And you're right, like we're starting right now. So right now it's already quite a few people, but not too many. So the chances that for you to get in touch with me have never been higher. And looking forward to hear your mix of Monuments of Misanthropy.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Scott.
Sure. Yeah. So the secret is, if you want to get close to Kohle, just give him a beer, and then that's it. You know?
Yeah, it's in a schnitzel, right?
Dude, that's the only way I survived 42 Gear Street. I don't listen. It's not like Germans are alcoholics. They've been doing this for a while, so they just can do it.
Yeah, Scott needed to compensate every third beer with one schnitzel, but that way he actually made it through 4 evenings.
Yes, I did. I survived. The last day was pretty shaky. There's a couple videos on YouTube where I'm not looking that good. But I mean,
it was worth it. It was worth it. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and to be drinking with you next year again, hopefully, right?
Yeah. Or I'll bring you out to Gdansk or something. There's be some subterfuge or some way I could just bring you out here somehow.
Because, I've never been there. People tell me it's a beautiful city. And so let's do that. I can combine it with 2 days of alcoholic holidays there and have fun with it.
Great. So you pretty much touched on it. Now, one thing I will say is there's a link below to all this. I do want to say up front that this is not an affiliate link. I'm just promoting what Kohle is doing because he's my friend and I really believe in what he's doing. But I'm not even going to tell you the prices because they're too low.
Yes.
For what you're going to get and how much in 2 decades of experience and everything that you're going to get, the price is just too low. So it doesn't matter if you go yearly or quarterly, the price is too low. Just go there and sign up. That's all I'm going to say about that. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No, it's an absolute honor. I'm absolutely just, it's amazing to look back how this all began with me just annoying AL to at least get you on the podcast. And now here you are 3 years later.
I wouldn't be where I am right now without you. I wouldn't be where I am right now without the help of Scott. So, thanks, man. I owe you quite a few more beer, actually. So let's meet in Gdansk and we'll have some fun together.
Yeah. We'll have plenty of time to do that. Just please don't kill me. Just understand. Even though I'm twice your body weight, because you're like this big in real life, somehow I don't understand it. How you can drink like that and be this big. But it's true. The dude can, yeah, whatever. But any last words for the soon to be upcoming cultists?
Yeah. I'm here to make metal sound great again. I'm here to support you, making your mixes, your recordings, all the other shit you're doing sound a lot better. And one thing I forgot to mention actually is like, I want you to find your own sound. That's really important. That's what what I'm trying to teach. Don't try to copy me. Don't try to sound like everybody else. Find your own tones, find your own mixes. I'm trying to empower you to be able to do that. That's all for today. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. I see you in hell's God. No, I see you in Gdansk. Prost, my friends. Bye-bye.